Well, this is a fun and unexpected follow up to a video we did the other day about a bombshell leak from top Trump advisors who believe that Trump is effectively helpless to stop an increasingly rogue Elon Musk. Well, somebody who apparently caught wind of that is Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, who took a pretty drastic action to correct the perception that Trump is a helpless puppet of Elon Musk by kicking Musk out of the White House. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friend, the ongoing drama between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, the world's most unlikely yet very sinister partnership, continues to unfold. And I want to remind you of a recent Politico article and a bombshell comment from top Trump advisors. Quote, "It is clear that Elon Musk has abused the proximity to the president," said the Trump ally. Quote, "The problem is the president doesn't have any leverage over him, and Elon gives zero fucks." Okay, that is the context for this. And I'll remind you once we get through the latest development of all the other developments which have really contributed to this idea that Musk is the one calling the shots and Trump really doesn't have any leverage over him. But this is what Susie Wiles, Donald Trump's chief of staff, did in return. Trump's ice maiden freezes Elon Musk out of the West Wing. Susie Wiles, Donald Trump's chief of staff, has denied the billionaire touted as the real vice president a permanent office in the heart of the White House, something that Musk reportedly, for weeks, has really sought, okay? This article comes from The Times. The Ice Maiden at the heart of the Trump administration has won her first big battle this week, denying Elon Musk a permanent base in the West Wing of the White House. Susie Wiles, a veteran Florida political fixer and the first female chief of staff, earned her nickname from President Trump for the calm professionalism she brought to his election campaign. Observers call her job, quote, "the toughest in America," and we'll get back to that. She must bring order to Trump's White House operation, control access to Trump to keep him focused, manage the senior staff, and liaise with Congress to advance his legislative agenda. Wiles, 67, wasted no time laying down the law to the new president's staff, making it clear that, quote, "anyone who cannot be counted on to be collaborative and focused on our shared goals isn't working in the West Wing," end quote. She has warned that she does not welcome, quote, "people who want to work solo or be a star," end quote. She might as well have been calling out Elon Musk by name. She might as well have been looking him dead in the face. She might as well have scribbled his social security number on the margin of that memo. Clearly, more than anybody, Elon Musk qualifies as all the things that Elon Musk does not want to be around. This meant she faced an early challenge to quiet and talk of Musk as a co-president or the real vice president instead of J.D. Vance, given the entrepreneur's tendency to grab headlines and promote his own agenda and allies. Again, I will remind you of all of those developments because it's a pretty long list contributing to this increasingly common perception that Musk is the one calling the shots. Musk, 53, has a key role in Trump's second term as the head of the new cost-cutting Department of Government Efficiency and is said to have been angling for his own office within yards of the Oval Office. Musk's senior leadership team are to be based in the Eisenhower Executive Office building, which is in the White House grounds but a short walk away across a road from the main complex. Wiles was sitting in the Oval Office on a chair to the side of the Resolute desk when Trump was asked by a reporter during the signing session for executive orders if Musk would be getting an office in the West Wing. "No," Trump said. "He's getting an office for about 20 people that we're hiring to make sure that these savings get implemented." His chief of staff remained poker faced, but this marked a significant victory. There was relief among long-term Trump backers on the West Wing staff who resent Musk's rapid ascent after declaring his support only last summer. There was another sign of Wiles' determination to put some distance between Musk and Trump in the executive order setting up DOGE, which stated that its chief administrator, Musk, must report to her. Nobody knows better than Wiles, with her long experience of managing men with big egos, just how hard it will be to restrain Musk, who continues to make frequent visits to the West Wing. However, her moves this week asserted her role as the gatekeeper to Donald Trump, even for the world's richest man, who has been omnipresent at Trump's side after moving himself into Mar-a-Lago at the end of last year. Quote, "There's never been an administration that has had so many power plays so early," said Frank Luntz, a veteran political analyst. Quote, "She's got the right heart and she's got the right skills for this. If anyone's going to succeed, it's her." And then the rest of the article describes Susie Wiles' background. So let's talk about this because, again, this is a huge development. We're going to talk about the Musk-Trump dynamic, and then we'll break down the chief of staff role because it's incredibly important. So I will remind you, Elon Musk is an unelected MAGA billionaire. For years, he actually feuded with Trump. He called Trump too old, too extreme, said he should get out of politics. Trump, during President Biden's administration, trashed Elon Musk repeatedly, called him obsequious. I could make him beg like a dog and he would have done it. Then, because of niche bullshit culture war issues, Elon Musk slowly radicalized himself, became increasingly unhinged, and then ultimately publicly endorsed Donald Trump in July of 2024. After he endorsed Trump, we saw a massive shift in engagement on Twitter, signal boosting and propelling right-wing accounts compared to left-wing accounts. There have been studies about this. As far as we know, based on public financial disclosures, Musk has contributed at least $270 million to get Donald Trump elected. Okay? And he asserted himself and inserted himself into Donald Trump's inner circle. Not only that, as the article suggests, Musk was physically present at Mar-a-Lago during the campaign and during the transition. He was everywhere. He could just reach out and touch Trump at any time. As a matter of fact, he rented a cottage on the Mar-a-Lago property, just yards away from Trump's own bedroom, in order to be physically close. He has crashed private dinners that Trump was having with other big tech interests, like Jeff Bezos, for example, with whom Musk has a long-standing rivalry. He is just on a single mission. He is just inserting himself, even when social grace and social nicety would say, back off. He has reportedly infuriated top Trump allies because of his presumption, because of his willingness to just brush aside all of these consideration and layers and just plow through, almost like he feels entitled to be at Trump's side at all times, regardless of what the political operation wants. We've just seen it on full display. We also have seen Musk flex his power in very overt ways. I will remind you, at the end of last year, there was a bipartisan continuing resolution, basically a temporary government funding measure, because President Biden was still in the White House, Democrats were still in charge of the Senate, and the House had a razor-thin Republican majority, which was very chaotic. In order to fund the government, you have to come to some sort of consensus. And at that time, the Democrats had the upper hand because they had the White House, they had the Senate, and Republicans only had the House. So it meant the Democrats were going to get more of what they wanted than Republicans wanted what they wanted. Trump knew that, or Trump's too stupid to recognize it, but there were bipartisan negotiations going on Trump's watch, either with his permission or with his tacit approval. Elon Musk torpedoed the whole thing, just torpedoed the operation with one tweet after another. It made all sorts of headline news. He called out Republican politicians, attacked Republican politicians, threatened to primary Republican politicians, threatened to destroy their political career unless they stopped this bipartisan continuing resolution. Donald Trump eventually caught up and was like, yeah, actually, no, I want to get rid of this too. And then both Musk and Trump, made a series of demands. Musk made multiple demands. Trump made one. Trump's demand was a continuing resolution needs to raise the debt ceiling. Biden needs to be forced to sign a law raising the debt ceiling so that Trump won't have to expend political capital once he becomes president. That would have been a big political win for Trump and made it easier for him to pass his sweeping tax cuts for the rich. Trump didn't get what he wanted. Republicans knew it was a non-starter, that Democrats wouldn't support it, Biden would probably veto it, so it was left out of the continuing resolution. But Musk got at least one thing that he wanted, which is a loosening of restrictions in terms of investing into China. Okay, he didn't get everything he wanted, but he got one thing. Republicans gave Musk what he wanted, at least one of the things, and gave Trump nothing, even though both men threatened political retribution for Republicans who backed the bill. So despite all the bluff and the bluster and the threats, Republicans gave Musk a win, but not Trump. I'll also remind you more recently that Musk waged a MAGA civil war over H-1B visas. Trump has previously campaigned against H-1B visas, wants to shut the whole program down, and that's what his racist, nativist, white supremacist MAGA base wants. Musk relies on immigrant labor and exploits immigrant labor to, enrich himself. So there was a MAGA civil war, and Musk again went rogue and threatened war. Drop F-bombs and expletives against MAGA if they fought him on the H-1B visa program. And eventually, Donald Trump came out and sided with Musk. He was intimidated into siding with Musk. So we've just seen time and time and time again, Musk flexing and chest bumping and pushing up on even the highest level of MAGA, including Trump. Most recently, Donald Trump, after becoming president, announced a $500 billion private investment initiative, which, actually the vast majority of the details were being worked under the Biden administration. But Trump comes out, takes credit for it. And this is an initiative into artificial intelligence. Well, one of the people who plays a key role in this is Sam Altman, and Elon Musk hates Sam Altman. And so Elon Musk publicly trashed Trump's own AI initiative that he's trying to take credit for. And this was just in the past couple of days. So again, Musk doesn't seem to give a damn. It does seem like he gives zero fucks. And it doesn't seem like Trump can do much by way of restraining him. And yet, while Trump is in a rock and a hard place, Susie Wiles, this very competent, ruthless political operator, she's the one who has to try to rein in this perception, because it is an increasingly common perception. And the polling on this is disastrous. Elon Musk's polling is increasingly underwater. And the perception that Trump is being, advised by billionaires is wildly unpopular. People don't like that. They don't want billionaires seen at the heart of government. So it's bad for everybody. So Susie Wiles effectively pulling rank, denying Musk something he wanted, which is close physical proximity once again to Donald Trump, which would be incredibly dangerous, saying, no, you're not going to be this close. We're going to inconvenience you, however slightly. And putting it so that he has to report ultimately to her. She's fighting back again against this increasingly common perception that Trump has, whether he likes it or not, has helped create with his weakness, his cowardice, his deference to Musk. And she's the only one apparently taking it seriously. Now, again, I want to be clear. I think both sides in this suck. Trump sucks, Musk sucks. So as far as I'm concerned, whoever wins or loses, it's bad for everybody and good for everybody. If Musk is humiliated, that's great. If Trump is humiliated, that's great too. This is one of those civil wars where just both sides are terrible. But I think it's interesting that Susie Wiles did what she did, because she clearly recognizes that the perception is that Musk is the one calling the shots. And Trump does have very little leverage if Trump values money and riches. He's not running for re-election, so he doesn't need people's votes. So he has predictably folded to the biggest wallet in the room, which is Elon Musk. It's going to take somebody like Susie Wiles, who is rich, but is probably not singularly motivated by wealth, to stand up and give him the finger, because Trump doesn't seem to have the backbone to do it. Trump seems to be too weak to do it. So Susie Wiles, who seems stronger than Trump, is going to have to do it. And the White House Chief of Staff, we've talked about this previously, folks. There's a great book by Chris Whipple called The Gatekeepers. The White House Chief of Staff is the second most powerful person in the federal government. It's extremely powerful. They're the gatekeeper, the top advisor. They run the executive office of the presidency. They are, in some ways, the de facto boss of the cabinet, even though it was never intended to be that way. They are a concentration of power. And usually, the sign of a competent, empowered chief of staff who has the trust of the president is usually the bellwether for success. Typically speaking, a weak presidency, you can associate it with weak chiefs of staff. So it's actually quite ominous that Donald Trump has selected somebody so competent to be chief of staff, because it increases the likelihood that his terrible agenda will be effectively implemented. But there's always a question of whether or not she overstays her welcome as well, because, of course, Trump is ultimately, at the end of the day, he's the one who can fire her. So there's no telling what will happen there. But again, it seems like the civil war between Musk and Trump behind the scenes continues to be waged. And no matter who gets humiliated, it's good for the American people. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.